Support Force units from Royal Air Force Wittering near Stamford are heading mission to Romania as Royal Air Force Typhoons power up for the NATO Black Sea Air Policing mission. This week personnel from No. 1 Expeditionary Logistics Squadron and No. 2 Mechanical Transport Squadron have been preparing and transporting the tons of equipment and supplies needed to sustain Typhoon jets as they patrol the skies over Eastern Europe. The Royal Air Force Support Force engineering and logistics personnel being based at Romania's Mihail Căgălniceanu Air Base. The deploying personnel will be responsible for the moving of Royal Air Force military equipment across international borders to set up and then sustain the operation. To ensure the operation is successfully supported requires specialist planning and delivery, which is carried out by the support force personnel. In addition to the Royal Air Force Wittering-based units, personnel from Royal Air Force Coningsby and Royal Air Force Lossiemouth have also been preparing and dispatching equipment to Romania. Senior aircraftman Alex Bennett Yard works at No. 2 Mechanical Transport Squadron and has played a leading role in the logistics planning for Operation Biloxi. He said, "It's an involved and detailed process. We have to make sure that our drivers are fit and fully trained. The schedule has to work in order to get all the right equipment there on time, but the kit has to travel with all the proper diplomatic and international clearances in place." Whilst No. 2 Mechanical Transport Squadron will transport the equipment to the military port at Marchwood, a team from No. 1 Expeditionary Logistics Squadron has been making sure all the kit is properly prepared. Mobility Supply Flight has prepared all the freight needed by the Royal Air Force for this mission, including the specialist airfield vehicles, and will oversee the shipping to Romania. Acting Sergeant Lee Markham has been involved in the logistics effort for 4 Baltic air policing missions. He said, "It's our biggest task of the year, and we've been involved from the start, preparing and packing all the kit to travel by air and sea for the A4 force elements. Our port liaison role sees us manage freight, ISO containers and vehicles from across the Royal Air Force ready for travel on the ferry." The Royal Air Force NATO mission is known by its military name as Operation Biloxi and is the first major operation for the newly formed Royal Air Force Support Force, of which the A4 force elements are a part. The Royal Air Force Support Force brings together most of the capabilities and skills needed to sustain modern air operations and exercises, specialist engineering and logistics, advanced military communications, tactical medical services and the mountain rescue team. NATO takes its responsibility to ensure integrity, safety and security of its airspace very seriously. For member nations that do not have the necessary air capabilities, agreements exist to ensure a single standard of security across European NATO airspace. Enhanced air policing is part of NATO's assurance measures introduced in 2014, after Russia's illegal and illegitimate annexation of the Crimean Peninsula. The alliance implemented these assurance measures with the goal to demonstrate the collective resolve of allies, demonstrate the defensive nature of NATO and deter Russia from aggression or the threat of aggression against NATO allies. They are flexible and scalable in response to fluctuations in the security situation facing the alliance and send a strong, unambiguous message to the public. As part of these assurance measures, NATO's air policing mission is enhanced across 2 implementation areas. NATO members are authorized and encouraged to provide additional assets to the alliance, supplementing existing Baltic air policing capabilities in the northern implementation area, and in parallel, augmenting national air policing capabilities in the southern implementation area. Operation Biloxi will also be supported by A4 force engineering units. 5001 Squadron are preparing specialized temperature-controlled storage facilities and maintaining the shelters and ground equipment used by the Typhoon jets. Expeditionary Armaments Squadron will manage and safely store the weapons carried by the aircraft. Group Captain Joe Lincoln is commander of the A4 force elements and deputy commander of the Royal Air Force Support Force. In many ways, this is what the support force is all about, making sure that the right equipment is in the right place at the right time. It sounds like a simple thing, but modern air power depends entirely on having the right kit on the ground, ensuring those aircraft and their crews are appropriately enabled. Group Captain Lincoln said,